Wow, so the prince of Afrobeats, Rema, has also joined devil worship and actually had people converge on the O2 Arena to perform his rituals and, all that devil worship in the name of a concert. Honestly, who would have thought, like, who would have predicted that Rema would also go this way? Honestly, people are unpredictable, that, like, really unpredictable. This and many more were the reactions that trailed Rema's recent concert, which he held at the O2 Arena at London, United Kingdom. And it got people talking so much that Rema also had to say something at the end of the concert. So that's what we are here to talk about today. So welcome, I'm Virtue Grace, the African storyteller. That's if you are seeing me for the first time. I guess you've not subscribed. If not, kindly click on that subscribe button. When you do, tap on the bell and select all. That way you will always be the first to know when I post a new video or I do a live stream. And for those of you returning, my vet loves, thank you so much for coming back. You guys know how much I love you, right? Welcome back. The concert was actually, well attended, judging by the clips I saw. I wasn't there. And, electrifying performance and all of that. Usual, you wouldn't expect anything less from the prince of Afrobeat, right? As much as I didn't want to get involved in this conversation, because when conversations border around conspiracy theories and devil worship and all of that, I just tap out and take a back seat and just observe. But what got me interested in this conversation is the angle and the explanation that Rema gave to the idea behind this concert, right? So in that concert, people said he sat on a black horse and, dressed in black and had, a mask on, and was doing incantations and had people running around him on the horse and, all of that. So I was like, that sounds weird and cringeworthy, right? Like, if I was there, I don't know how I would also feel about it. People even went to the point of making videos of how they had to cover themselves in the blood of Jesus and how they had to pray and all of that after attending the concert. And for me, I felt somehow like, well, people exaggerate sometimes, but it kept going on and on. So those of you who do not know, Rema is a Nigerian Afrobeat star. He hails from Edo State in southern Nigeria. Okay, and in Edo State you have several tribes and subcultures of the Edoid tribes. Okay, Arema happens to be from Benin, one of the ancient kingdoms in not just Nigeria but in Africa, the great Benin Kingdom. And if you look at the history of the Benin Kingdom, it was a civilized kingdom, the cradle of black civilization and culture. And during the British colonial era, some events happened and led to the British invading the Benin Kingdom, destroying the Benin Kingdom and cutting away with some artifacts that belonged to the great Benin Empire. Up till today, when you go to the British Museum, you see some of those artifacts sitting there in those museums. You would understand why I brought this up. Okay, so now back to Rema. Rema happens to be from that culture. Okay, when we talk about art, art is an expression of society. Art basically mirrors society. So whatever it is you are putting out in whatever form, as far as it is art, in a way it mirrors society. Okay, and it serves to either educate, inform, entertain, or send a message across based on prevailing issues per time. Okay, so Rema being an artist, a performing artist, and coming from a culture as influential and as powerful as the great Benin kingdom or culture empire, he in a way has his culture with him and would express it every now and then in his art, right? Back to the concert. So when people got talking about it, he put out a statement, and I'm going to quickly read that statement before we continue. He said, "Revenge uprising. My ancestors' bronzes sit in the museum of this very city, so I remade mine. Hence, Edo is redefined, the map reshaped, your minds awakened, and the mask reborn. Thank you, London." When I saw this, I was like, how smart of him and how ingenious of him. So basically, Rema is telling us that he he represented his culture and everything that had happened in the past in the way that he could do best, which is his art. Okay, now back to what I said about the British invasion of the Great Benin Empire and the cutting away with those artifacts. When you look at him at that concert, he had a mask, and that mask is the mask of Queen Idia. Who is Queen Idia, you are going to ask? I'm going to tell you. I also had to do a search. We often see this mask on the internet when we talk about the artifacts that were looted from the Great Benin Empire. But I bet oftentimes we rarely pause to ask questions. What does this mask represent? What does it talk about? So this is what the Queen Idia mask means. Queen Idia, who is she? First of all, she was the first woman who went to and fought in war. She used her magical powers and knowledge of medicine to help her son overcome his enemies. She was one of the best known female soldiers ever from the Benin Kingdom. She was a fearless army general who led the armies of Benin on several successful battles. So that is who Queen Idia was. So this was Rema's way of honoring his ancestors and, bringing to your attention the innumerable contributions that women made in social-cultural development of the African society in time past, contrary to the widespread opinions and, information that African women have always been, passive members of society. I mean, African women in the past and even present have continued to do incredible things in society, but oftentimes their stories go untold. It was just recently that, a movie was made about the Amazon warriors and, everyone started talking about them. Many countless of those stories abound, but we never know about them until we get to talk about them, we get to share the spotlight on them, and that's exactly what Rema did. So the mask he wore is actually the Queen Idia mask, and before you talk about it, I understand honestly, because I'm on the same table as many of the people who ignorantly peddle the rumor that he was doing devil worship and all of that. We are not taught our history and our culture, so oftentimes you are ignorant. So I would suggest that instead of us peddling false narratives and all, when we do not understand things about our cultures and all, we should do research, we should ask questions, in order to educate ourselves and other people around us. Okay, now the horse that Rema rode on is also symbolic because it was a mystical horse that Benin ancestors rode on. I actually saw a tweet that someone from the Benin Kingdom. I mean, I'm not from there, so I wouldn't have known either. He says Rema rode the mystical horse yesterday to the stage with the Queen Idia mask like his forefathers did many centuries ago. The Prince of Afrobeat subtly reminding us who he is, half man, half amazing. Wese, Vine, may your Ehi never depart from you. Now, I need a Benin person to explain to us what Vine means and what Ehi means, okay? What Ehi means in your culture, right? So, drop a comment and tell us. Yeah, so that was Rema's way of honoring his ancestors and shedding the light and sharing his culture with you. So, now that he has spoken about it, I bet it now sheds more light on what that means to him and to the Benin people and to the African people at large who still have their looted artifacts sitting in European museums across the world. I actually applaud Rema for doing this because now it has sparked a conversation and it's going to educate people more. Now we realize the need for us to educate ourselves more about our cultures and to know more about who we are, because if we do not know, we are going to constantly demonize things about our cultures, our histories and our traditions that we do not know, and that doesn't help us in any way. It's so unfortunate that Rema has recently been embroiled in this never-ending narratives and conversations about him being a devil worshipper and being a member of some devil worshipping sect and all of that. Just a few weeks ago, about last week, there was the conversation making the rounds about him and the fact that he has joined Illuminati because he always tweets about bat and all of that. He actually had to put a statement out. He says, "They want rivers, help educate the new rivers that have been on this bad shit for a long time. You all would have so much clarity if you easily Google where I'm from. what the key colors of my heritage are, what flies in the skies of Benin every evening, etc. As I evolve, my execution will evolve unapologetically. Please know your artist. It is why I do interviews. And that Illuminati talk is trash. I work too hard to create art for you guys to give the glory to some diabolical shit. Dead it now. Jesus is king. He literally had to say this because, the conversation was that he has joined Illuminati and all of that. So he had to say something, and a lot of Benin people confirmed that actually when you go to Benin in the evening, bats fly all across the skies of Benin. That is where Rema is from. And the key cultural colors of the Benin people are red and white and I think black. So when you see him display those colors, it's only representing where he comes from. And that goes back to what I said earlier about art, mirroring society, art being a reflection of society and our cultures, where we are from. We do not exist in vacuum. So when we create art in any form at all, we are only reflecting where we come from or the things that happen around us as, our cultures and in our society or environment in general. So please, you people should cut Rema some slack, okay? Let him give us art. And like he said, as he evolves, his execution is going to evolve unapologetically. And so that means you should brace yourself for more to come. And if you do not understand, like I said earlier, it's best to ask questions rather than demonizing what you do not understand, okay? I mean, when we see other people unapologetically display who they are in the media or wherever, we do not demonize them as often as we do Africans. So hey, and oftentimes it's we Africans demonizing ourselves. So let's do better. Yeah, so that's basically it. What you guys think? For me, I think that we should spark conversations about who we are and educate the world more about who we are unapologetically, because we have beautiful cultural heritage and we should share that with the world unapologetically. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think? If you've not subscribed, kindly click on that subscribe button, subscribe, and remember to tap on the bell. That way you'll always be the first to know when I post a new video or I do a live stream. For those of you who returned, thank you so much for returning. Drop a comment, let me know your opinion about Rema and this whole art and narrative around it. I'd like to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, stay safe, healthy, below abiding. I'm Virtue Grace, the African storyteller. Bye. Mwah.